Peyten Kellar, MAC champion, 157, MAC Wrestler of the Year. Kellar to Kansas City.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Yes, sir.
How are we feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. I had a little banged up knee, but I've been rehabbing it, and it's getting better. So.
You had quite the season, Peyten. MAC champion, MAC Wrestler of the Year. There hasn't been a MAC Wrestler of the Year at Ohio since 2005. So how did it all come together for you this season?
Well, last year wasn't the year I wanted to have. I ended up taking third at MACs, and then went to Nationals last year and went 0-2, and I wasn't happy with myself. What led to me being a MAC champion this year was putting in a lot of work, staying after practice, doing extra drills, and a big person that pushed me was Shakir Laney, Coach Pac. He, every time I was struggling in practice, he'd always say, "MAC champ, Peyten Kellar, MAC champ, Peyten Kellar," and it'd just drive me to go harder in practice. So.
What's an example of a practice where, like, you remember him pushing you and getting you over the hump of maybe a mental block?
Well, it was probably a week before we went to the MAC championships. I was actually on that bike over there, and it's 30-second bike sprint, and then right off the bike, and you wrestle in your stance for 30 seconds, and then straight to the bike again for 30 seconds, and you just repeat it until like 3 minutes is up. So, but it's definitely physically breaking, and mentally, But
you went undefeated through the MAC slate. Nobody beat you. Was it easy or was it hard?
Yes and no. There were some matches that my opponents were definitely like right there with me, and then some matches I just kind of swept away with them. But no, kid from George Mason, he's tall and lengthy and has a heck of a good defense, and I couldn't score on him just because he kept a small stance and his arms are just, it's like Spider-Man. You know?
MAC champion, 157, that final match. Peyten, what was going through your mind after it finished and you were crowned the champ?
I didn't know what to think, honestly. I was thankful for my coaches and my parents, my girlfriend obviously, for all supporting me. Yeah, just going into that third period, when he chose the bottom, I'm like, all right, 2 minutes, wrestle as hard as you can, do not let him up. And I did that, and that's all Coach Greenlee asked us for, is to wrestle hard.
So last year's NCAAs was your first ever trip. What's going to be different about your trip to the NCAAs this year in Kansas City?
Last year, it was rough. I lost to number 7 kid in the nation, Bryson Donian, 7-6, I believe. And then I wrestled the last year's MAC champion at 157. I lost like 2-1 or 2-0, something like that. But what's different about this year is I think I have a better draw than last year, and I'm more hungry.
Why are you more hungry this year?
Just because it means a lot to me. It's been my childhood dream to be an All-American, and I want to get it done.
You're also going with Jordan Greer and Garrett Thompson, two guys that have not been to the national spotlight. So what's your advice to those guys?
Like I said earlier, just wrestle hard and you should be all right. Like, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, just wrestle hard, and that's all we can ask.
Every story has a beginning. Your wrestling journey begins where and when? You're from Cutler, Ohio.
Yeah, when I say I'm from Cutler, Ohio, not many people, actually everyone just says, "Where is that?" I'm like, well, it's in the middle of Athens and Marietta. But what got me started was my older brother, Liam. He was starting to get into sports, and he decided to go with wrestling. And I think I was 4 years old at the time, and the coach, that was my high school coach, Jeff Parsons, he was actually coaching for our Pee Wee club. And he's like, he talked to my mom, he's like, "Why don't you get your other son to wrestle?" He's like, "It's a good idea to start him young." And I started from there, and he coached me all the way up to high school. So, but I'm forever grateful for him.
Warren High School, right?
Yep, Warren High School.
What type of wrestler were you in high school?
I was a little cocky my freshman and sophomore year when I was going into high school because I just had won 3 state championships back-to-back, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I felt a little cocky. But when I got up there, I was definitely humbled. I don't know, going into freshman and sophomore year, I was like, I got this, no one could stop me. And then I took 5th my freshman year, and then 7th my sophomore year. So I was like, I'm thinking about this all wrong. I have to choose a different path. So started junior year. I was practicing in the summer, and we went to a collegiate scout camp, and I actually tore my meniscus. And I had to sit out for 2 months and miss one of the biggest high school tournaments in the nation, which is the Ironman tournament my junior year. But I came back and then went undefeated that year. And then our state got canceled because of COVID. But it drove me to be more hungry for the next year, my senior year, and I ended up winning state.
Joel Greenlee, you've known him for quite some time. What's the first memory that you have of Joel Greenlee, your head coach?
Probably coming to one of the kids' summer camps that they had. I think it was like 3 days or something like that. And we were actually wrestling out there in the combo gym on 4 big match or something like that. And he came up to me and put me with somebody bigger and older because I was just ahead of my age.
Yeah.
But I actually got a picture with him and Jermaine Lindsay. I was probably younger than 10 years old.
So during that time, did you have a vision to go wrestle at Ohio?
Not at that time. My dream was always to wrestle like at a Big Ten school, something like that. Like Ohio State, I always used to go up there and watch their matches. We were season ticket holders. But honestly, I didn't like how they were at Ohio State, and I always liked Joel and Ohio University. Not because it's closer, but just because Joel's a good person.
What makes Joel such a good person?
Well, for one, he's funny. But no, if you're down on yourself after a hard match and you lost, he's there to pick you up, tell you what you need to do, what you need to work on. Another is he's caring.
What's the best piece of advice he's given you about the sport?
Mental toughness. All right. So if you don't think you can win, you're not going to win. But just go out there with some confidence, wrestle hard, and you'll win.
Anybody else that is behind your motivation?
My mother, Michelle. She's pushed me all throughout my career. She's sacrificed so much time and money, taking me to different states, like Reno, Nevada for Worlds, Florida. She actually drove all the way to Fargo, North Dakota, and drove right back 18 hours.
To watch you wrestle?
Yeah, so she's definitely made her sacrifices, and I'm forever grateful for her. And my dad, obviously, he's one of my biggest supporters. My brother, he was my mentor too. Like, I looked up to him, I still do. And my girlfriend, she's always there to support me.
I've seen a lot of different moves that you do on the mat. Coach Greenlee's brought up a banana split. He's told me something along the lines of that. Like, do you just come up with moves out of nowhere? Is it just?
Yes and no. If I'm there and I'm wrestling on top, and I see something, like, I'll try to set him up for it, and if he makes a certain move, then I know I have it, and I'll go for it. But I actually wrestled Coach Pock yesterday or 2 days ago, and I put him in a banana split. He just started laughing. Greenlee was over there just almost crying in tears. But
Wow. Peyten, appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Awesome.